All right, hello, I am Dr. Taylor, and I am a medical doctor. Now, I'll give you a little history if you've never seen any of my information on YouTube or wherever. I'm a 64-year-old medical doctor. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. Dad was a Baptist minister. I went to Vanderbilt University for undergrad, came to Atlanta, went to Emory for medical school. In medical school. I met my wife. We got married. She did a psychiatry residency. I did an OBGYN residency. And we had two children. So we did, what we were supposed to do. When my wife had her second child, she stopped working as a psychiatrist because it was really just too much of a spiritual burden on her, because everybody comes to psychiatrists, they dump all of their problems on you and you carry that. So anyway, so she took 5 years off to raise our second child. And during that time, we kind of rediscovered ourselves because we were both really worn out from everything that we had done. And I got interested in bioidentical hormones, and we got interested in stress. So we wrote a book called Are Your Hormones Making You Sick 25 years ago, and we wrote a book called The Stress Connection. From that, I went around the world really to promote the books. I was speaking to medical conferences, and I spoke to lay people. And after 10 years, that wore me out. I really did that from about 45 till about 55, and that wore me out. So then I just sat back in my office. We were practicing holistic medicine, and that's what I did. So I kind of laid low for a few years. And after a while, that got to be boring. Okay. It just got to be plain old everyday boring. And it frustrated me. And my wife saw it, and one day she said, I just can't live with you like that because you always seem frustrated. And that kind of hit me. And that's when I took a course called The Reality Creator by a guy named Quasi that's on YouTube. And from that, it just kind of made me relook at my life and to say, hey, I think it's going to be when I was going to retire. And I thought to myself, what would I do if I retire? Shrink away and do nothing? I was like, no, I'm better now than I've ever been. And I need to let people know that. And I need to go beyond my office. So at that point, I was asking, now what? I had done all what, and that's what was frustrating me. So it took me till I was 63, 64 to figure this out. But this is something I really started at 50 when I read a book called Halftime. And I think I'm going to talk about this, but so I'm focusing this on people, high achievers over 50 who have climbed a bunch of mountains. Now they may be in the valley and they're saying, now what? What is the next mountain for me to climb? So you've achieved everything society told you to want, yet that emptiness persists. This isn't the end, it's the beginning. And that's what I was like. I'm like, I'm not going to end like this. Despite career success and financial security, you're questioning if you've been climbing the right ladder all along. This crossroads invites you to rediscover purpose, your most meaningful contribution fueled by hard-earned wisdom. And that's what I'm saying. I earned a lot of wisdom over this time, and you have too, in whatever profession that you have been pursuing. And there may still be a lot to lie ahead. So life's second half offers the opportunity to pursue significance over success. And I would encourage you to read that book, Halftime, because the first half of your life, you're looking for success. And I thought that was what I was supposed to do, and that's what I did. So, but now I'm looking for significance. And if I can help one other person to feel like I do now, I mean, I didn't feel like that before. You don't see frustration on me right there. I'm really happy now. So I'm hoping that I can encourage someone else to take that leap. So you've done everything right. The corner office, the perfect family, you have financial freedom, you've achieved it all. Your peers see you as the definition of success. So, they see me and my wife, oh, you're two doctors, you guys must have it all together. Well, kind of, but not really. And nobody has it all together. So yet each accomplishment feels like checking boxes rather than bringing lasting fulfillment. So this emptiness, it isn't failure. It's an invitation to something deeper. Your restlessness isn't indicating you've done something wrong, but that something more meaningful awaits you beyond traditional success markers. Because you probably reached all the success markers. And you're like, what am I going to do? So now what? I need more than just these, these like rungs on the ladder. Is there another ladder to climb? Because this ladder is not fulfilling. So you're asking now what? And that's what I was doing. Despite reaching your goals, success hasn't brought you lasting fulfillment. Why am I frustrated? This gap between achievement and satisfaction is high achiever's dilemma. And that's what, so we're always looking for another mountain to climb. And even at 64, 65, I'm like, no, I need another challenge. So you've met society's metrics for success. My financial advisor said, "Oh, you're fine. You're all set for retirement." And I'm like, "You got the wrong person here, guy. I'm not looking to retire." So wealth and status fail to nourish what truly matters. Your spirit seeks meaning beyond material rewards. So you have an inner compass, and that's what you have to get in touch with, is that inner compass. This void isn't failure, it's guidance. Your emptiness is a sophisticated navigation system pointing you toward the authentic expression of your gifts and evolution beyond conventional success. We all have a guidance system. Now, we know how migration patterns, where these animals know where to go at what time of year. You have a guidance pattern too. There's a pattern for you to follow to say, hey, where should I go? What is next? Where do I go next? All right. So you have to follow that internal guidance a signal that we all have, but we've lost it. We don't know where it is, and we're looking for it outside. And it's in us, just like the birds know to fly north in the summer or whatever, is that we have an internal guidance system also. So that's not aging, it's a calling. What society labels midlife crisis is your soul's invitation to greater purpose. And that's what that halftime book is about. Yeah, ever since I was 50, at first I thought, oh, it's speaking, that's what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, it is. I'm a communicator. That's what I feel like I am. And I had to use all types of ways to communicate. It used to be I had to get on a plane and get in front of an audience. But now I can sit right here in my little hideaway and I can have an audience of whoever wants to listen. And let me be clear, what I've learned from growing up in church or whatever is that you can't convert people who don't want to be converted. So I'm only talking to the people who want to be converted. If you want to be converted, I have a way to I have a method that can transform you. Okay. So what society labels, so it's not a crisis beyond material indulgence. It's spiritual awakening. Your soul seeks deeper meaning. It's not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough in waiting. Discomfort signals transformation, not collapse. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's always when change happens. You have to be so sick of the life that you're living is that you'll do anything to create another life. And that's what you can do. You have the power to do that at any age. You can do it at 20, you can 30, at 40. I created a lot of different lives. I was a son, I'm a husband, I'm a doctor, I'm a holistic doctor, I'm a speaker, and now I'm trying my best to be a healer, energy and energy medicine and quantum physics. So it's not an ending, it's not an ending, it's your next beginning. What seems like an end is the doorway to authenticity. Your soul is demanding attention. Restlessness seeks purpose, not escape. So stop trying to escape that discomfort. We do it with drugs, and men do it with women. And that's why prostitution is the oldest profession, because men seek escape in sex. And that's sex and drugs. And we're trying to escape this inner, deeper meaning. Men are not all about sex. I mean, we've been conditioned to that, and that's what society has told us, is that to be a man, you have to have sex as often as possible. And that's not your true self. That is something that society has put on you in order to propagate a a personality. Okay? So your true path is emerging. This discomfort marks where authenticity begins. This void isn't empty. It's the gateway to your highest calling and fullest potential. So what men are really looking for, and I'm speaking mostly to men. I talk to women too, but it's mostly about hormones. But men are looking for a spark. Okay. They have to have something to look forward to. I've seen men in my practice, and once they retire, they stop living. They don't live very long. And the young men who retire, they can take it for about 6, 7 months, and then they have to go back to work. So we have to be creating. We have to be doing something. Our divine spirit is fire. It's we can create and we can destroy. You can create things, you can cook things with fire, but you can also destroy things. So men have that capacity, but we're always looking for a spark. And you have to stop looking for that spark outside and look for it inside. We all have a divine light, a spark. In church, in Sunday school, you may have sung the song, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." Well, yes, my dad used to say children are a gift from God, and God is light. He's the light of the world. And so that light has to shine. And sometimes that light gets very dim. And when it does, our life gets very dim. But if you can reignite that spark, your life becomes alive again. So true reignition comes through alignment with your divine self, not external distractions or temporary pleasures. Reconnecting with the soul's purpose creates authentic relationships and aligns your life with your calling, transforming everything you touch. And I'm going to tell you, since I've changed, my whole environment has changed. My relationship with my wife has changed, the relationship with my children, with my patients, with my friends, with my family. And I've reignited that light. And now whenever I'm around people, I can initiate a conversation, a meaningful conversation, because I am connected in that way. So your spiritual alignment, your purpose that grounds your life's journey. And your divine identity is your purpose beyond career status. Again, I'm not looking for any type of uh, awards or status from this. This is just something I feel like I have to do. Is that if I can change my life in this way at this point in my life, then at 50, you definitely should be able to do it. And if I had known this at 50, I could have been even more productive. So that's why I'm talking to people over 50, because that's that halftime where people start to say, now what? So you don't need a new wife. You just need to reconnect with your divine purpose. When aligned with your authentic self, external validation becomes unnecessary. You deepen existing relationships through presence. Authentic engagement creates intimacy that no new relationship can match. Yes, let me tell you, I became vulnerable. I became where I began to know myself, and then I could have a deeper relationship with my wife. Now, this is like 3, 4 months ago. We were in Cancun, and we were sitting there, standing there, contemplating our future together. And somebody asked if they could take a picture of us. We didn't ask them, but they could see the connection, and they said, "You guys look so beautiful, uh, looking out in the ocean." And what we were doing, and I was saying to my wife, is that opportunities are going to flow to us just like this ocean is flowing toward us. So that's what I visualized and that's what I saw. And other people could see it, you know. And I'll be married 39 years this June. And my relationship with my wife is unbelievable. It's more than we ever imagined. And I just hate for 38 years I didn't realize that I needed to connect with myself in order to connect with my wife. And so I didn't need a new wife, but I have a new relationship with my wife that is unbelievable. And it's not because we have sex more often, it's because we are intimate. We are emotionally intimate more often. And I'm going to tell you, men, sometimes that's better than sex. I'm going to tell you, I can be intimate with my wife when I just look into her eyes. All right. So, spiritual growth, you evolve through conscious practice. As you expand awareness, you naturally outgrow limitations and elevate your life. So, authentic meaning, discover purpose beyond achievement. Your soul craves meaning that transcends material wealth, connecting you to something greater. What you seek isn't changing circumstances, but in transforming your relationship with yourself. The emptiness can only be filled by discovering the fullness already within you. So here's the spark you're looking for. It's not filled by adding more, but by removing the blocks that enter your light. Okay, that's blocking your light. This journey reveals your authentic self by clearing conditioning and false beliefs. What emerges is your timeless essence, always within, waiting for expression. So here's what I'm going to tell you. When you start to do this, you're going to start to question your beliefs. All right. So you're going to become awakened consciousness into your daily life. When inner wisdom guides actions, your soul truth emerges. And you have to get out of your routine. You have to let the spirit move you, okay? To lead you and guide you. That's what we talk about church. Lead me, guide me. All right, following your soul's compass, not external validation. This guidance allows you with your authentic person. You have to stop worrying about what other people say about you, what your family says about you, what your friends say about you. And you're going to find you're going to have to disconnect from some people if you're going to really follow your purpose. All right. Assessing this wisdom already within you. As awareness expands, you connect with your higher self. And that's what we're going to talk about in the later slides about ascension, getting in touch with your higher self, moving higher and higher in consciousness. So seeing your true self beyond societal labels, this uh, recognition ignites transformation. So believe me, I was there. Now, not at 65, I'm 64. I'm closer to 65 than 64. So I had career achievements, I had financial security, a recognition, and I had a status built. I'm with John Maxwell. I've studied John Maxwell for 25 years. When I wanted to be a speaker, I emulated him, okay? Because he says he's a communicator, not an educator, because communicators make difficult subjects simple. Educators make simple subjects difficult. So I emulated him and I became, quote unquote, an excellent speaker. I had a lot of speaking engagements to the point where it wore me out and I had to stop. And for the last 5 years, I haven't really done anything. But I know this is my calling, is to communicate. So inner emptiness, a growing void despite outward success, achievements that felt hollow and unfulfilling. Yeah, this is great. I took a picture with him, but now what? So when I finally turned inward instead of seeking external solutions, that's when I began to have authentic living, aligning your outer world with your soul's purpose and your deepest value. The journey from success to significance means infusing achievements with spiritual meaning. So if I achieve something, but it has some spiritual meaning, then I feel like my life is not in vain. Okay. So I want to have achievements, but my achievement is to help other people transform their lives, not to get an award. But if somebody can say that because of you, I have ascended to a higher level of living, then that's all the award that I really want. Okay. So I didn't really reinvent myself. I just found myself. I chased society's version of success, wealth, and status. And that life appeared impressive, but it felt hollow within. So I became this thing called the spiritual MD because, I started to look for ways to understand where I'm going and where I came from. Okay. And I got a hold of the Gaia channel, and we have all of these scientists that are talking about the spirit. I follow someone called Teresa Bullard. She's a physicist, a quantum physicist, and she has a series called Mystery Teachings. It's incredible. And you want to learn about the mysteries in life. And this Ankh is a symbol of the mysteries in life. When I went to Egypt in December, I learned about this key of life. And they gave this, you could see this in the hieroglyphics where they would give it to the pharaohs because they wanted to understand the mysteries of life. And life is a mystery. You don't have it all figured out. And what's exciting about life is the mystery. So anyway, so we had these scientists, physicists. Bruce Lipton is a cell biologist, and I majored in molecular biology. So he's talking about spirit and how it influences the cells. Uh, Joe Dispenza is a chiropractor, and he talks about the spirit. Uh, was it Greg Brayton is a geologist, and he talks about magnetic fields and how the cosmos affect that. So I'm a scientist and I'm interested in the spirit. So I'm the spiritual MD. Now I didn't think that's not something that I had thought about ever before, but I let the spirit guide me and that's what it told me. All right. So I faced emptiness. Then I started remembering, hey, I was raised in a spiritual environment and I'm a scientist. I'm a spiritual MD. All right. So my success gained meaning through spiritual alignment. I transformed material achievements, being a doctor, into vehicles for spiritual expression rather than substitutes. All right. So I didn't reinvent myself. Everything that I had done led me to this. So that's what halftime talks about. Me being a doctor and OBGYN and all this, hey, the only way I could get to this point is to go through all of that. And that's how you have to look at your life. You have to look back at your life and not have any regrets. To say, I see why everything that happened to me had to happen in order for me to get to this point in my life. And I'm going to take what happened and I'm going to use it and I'm going to infuse spirituality and my true purpose into it. And that's going to lead me to peace, happiness, and prosperity spiritually is by following purpose. So we look for these false sparks, like new toys, like getting a car and getting a new wife or whatever. Okay, so and then we look for these ways to show that we've made it. We go to these galas. Oh, I was on the red carpet and all, and after it's over with, you just take off those expensive clothes and you start living your same old life. And then we start to seek power. If you look at this P. Diddy trial, he wanted power over these women, power over these people, getting them to do what he wanted them to do. And power is so intoxicating, but it usually leads to destruction, okay? It leads to corruption, okay? The more you seek power, the more you're going to be tempted by corruption. And these end up leading to destruction. Okay. And it's like drinking salt water because it only makes you more thirsty. When you go after these false sparks, you just want more money, more women, more power, more control. And it's very empty. It's not satisfying. The reason why you want more because it's not satisfying. So there's 12 dimensions that we should be trying to achieve. So when we're first born, all we want is to survive. We want to eat and sleep and we want to poop. And we have an emotional experience to express that. Babies cry when they want to eat, they cry when they need to sleep, and they cry when they pooped. Okay. And so that's very base living. Then as you grow up, you begin to want to stretch out to the outside world. That's why kids like to be on the playground and experience different things because they're trying to understand the outside world. Then you get to be an adolescent or teenager or in that 12, that mid teens, and you start to worry about what the outside thinks of you. So you become self aware and you become sure because you really have no guidance system. You're looking for the outside to tell you where to go. Then you get into high school and then you have to have more abstract thinking, and they try and get you to try and pick a certain path to go down. What college are you going to go to? What studies are you going to subject? So you get funneled down into this narrow path. And that's where we usually end up with like, okay, I'm a doctor. Okay, that's what I am. I am a husband. I am this. I am a alcoholic. I am a, I am this. That's that ego. I am. So, but what you really want is to be connected to the great I am. Okay. So that you can change and you can adapt. So that's most of us are in this third dimension where we're in this material realm. All we see is what we can see and touch and feel with our senses. But then there's a greater awareness. That's what we call a heart awareness. And the Egyptians knew that. Most ancient societies see the heart as the center of your being. And that's why in the Bible it's talk about a person after God's own heart, because you have to have the heart of God, and the heart of God is love. So you have to have, so when you get to this fourth dimension, you have heart awareness, authentic expression, and intuitive knowing. And intuition is a gift from God. And we think women only have intuition, but men have it too, but we just don't pay any attention to it because we're so focused on conquering the outside world, we don't look at the inner world where our intuition is. But when you let intuition guide you, it always guides you toward a higher level of living. So you have this divine alignment and you have a cosmic consciousness where you look beyond what you see. You can look at how the cosmos affect your life and affect, just like the moon affects the wave patterns. It affects the menstrual cycle of women, the outer environment, the bigger environment also has an effect on us. So the journey from spiritual seeking to higher awareness and karmic resolution. So that's all that fourth to the eighth dimension. And then you want to get to the ninth dimension where you have divine co-creation and quantum mastery. And I'm so interested in quantum physics because that's how you get to a higher level of living and manifestation. And that's what we call co-creation because we are made in the image of God. And if God created everything, then we are co-creators. God uses us to create. He uses us to create good, and we also have the free will to create other things, things that aren't so good. So when you ultimately return to source, which means expressing divine humanity, is when everything is done from a basis of love. And that's why you ought to read 1 Corinthians 13th chapter, where it talks about the qualities of love. And it says faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. And that's 100% true. Okay? The greatest, highest form of living is when you're living through love. So why are you saying not now what? Is because you have a divine masculine spark. There's a divine masculine, a divine feminine. Divine feminine is more intuitive, and divine masculine is more active. You have to be doing something, okay? You have to create something. You have to be forming something, a business, a building, or whatever, whatever. So we're looking for that spark. For that spark is inside. All right. You have to channel energy into deliberate creation aligned with your highest values to manifest what serves the greater good. So you always have to have a bigger why than yourself. Okay. So I'm just thinking if all of these 50-year-old men and women could live to their highest potential for their entire life, is that how much more productive could our society be? And if we could do everything out of love, how much more peaceful would our life be? So you have to establish boundaries for growth and vulnerability, stand firm in truth, protecting what is precious so wisdom and innocence can flourish. You have to have an authentic connection for meaningful relationships without domination. You're not trying to control people. Communicate with clarity and compassion, bridging seen and unseen realms. That is what I'm trying to do. I hope you understand that. So you want to ignite transformation through challenge, step into roles of way shower, and kindle the flame of awakening in others. Let me tell you, your brain likes surprises and it likes learning. And so you need to be learning something new. You need to be creating something new. That's what fulfills you. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is from going to Egypt and what I'm learning now is that ancient wisdom meets modern understanding in humanity's quest to connect to something greater. And the greater is, and hopefully you like heard this from, is that quantum field. And we are all energy beings. And we are all in this vast entanglement of energy. And quantum physics explained explained life to me and the meaning of life. And if you understand quantum physics, you'll begin to understand where you came from and where you're going. And that's the great mystery of life. And once you feel comfortable with that, it's like, I know where I came from and I know where I'm going. That's getting over the fear of death. And the two things that people are more fearful of is death and public speaking. So I'm not fearful of public speaking. So the only thing I had to get over with is the fear of death. And quantum physics did that for me. So medical science now validates ancient wisdom about consciousness and healing. Universal principles transcend cultures, appearing across civilizations throughout time. So I want to practice whole person healing. It merges traditional methods with evidence-based approaches, and today's awakening adapts ancient techniques while preserving essential truths. So I started a group called Ageless Blueprint, where I want to talk about these things. And first, Ageless Blueprint is we talk about being in balance, and we talk about balancing hormones and balancing your life. And then we talk about harmony. So balancing hormones is what my first book was about. And the second book was the stress connection. And you have to create harmony in your life. You have to balance your sympathetic and parasympathetic system, I mean your fight or flight system and with your rest and digest system. And so once you can balance those and you have harmony, then you can have peace. When you have peace, you can now figure out your purpose, because when you are quiet internally, then your intuition will guide you towards your purpose. And once you are guided by your purpose, you automatically find passion. I'm so passionate about this. And passion is what creates vitality. And vitality is what creates longevity. As long as you're living vitally and you feel like you have something you have to get up and do and accomplish, when you stop feeling like you have something to contribute, that's when you're going to start aging and dying. All right. So that's what the Ageless Blueprint is about. And I'm really talking about these high achievers because I know how you feel. I feel your pain. I've been there, and I know that this can relieve your pain. So if you're interested in this, you can go to www.school.com/ageless, school with a K, SKOOL, and I'll have that uh, clear on our last slide that I'll add to this. And you go www.school.com/ageless, and please join. It's free initially, but if you want to work closer with me, more one-on-one, we have different tiers that you can decide how involved you want to be with this. So I ask you to go there, just look around, and if you're interested, you can communicate with me there. So it's www.school.com/ageless. Please sign up. Membership is free, and then we can see how connected we want to be by communicating through that platform. So thank you so much for listening. I will be back with more information about this. I love to talk about this. I love to share this information, and I'll give you some insights on uh, what books I've been reading, what videos I've been looking at, and I'm going to tell you, it can reignite that spark. Once you get in touch with your inner self, man, that flame burns really, really bright. So thank you again so much for listening, and please comment below. I'm very anxious to see who out there has felt like me and who wants to move to a next level. And also, I have an accompanying video that kind of chronicles my transformation with Quasi and Reality Creator. So if you're interested in that, that's going to be linked down below too. It's quite an emotional interview, and so I encourage you to look at it. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.